Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gators' first Week 5 SEC podcast. Other than the Florida game, of course, Western Kentucky plays Kentucky and South Carolina plays UAB, so those aren't a big deal. But we've got four other games we can talk about. The first one being Arkansas at Texas. Arkansas has looked pretty bad, but this is a big time rivalry, and since it's playing a big time out of conference opponent, everyone will kind of be paying attention to the outcome. Hopefully Arkansas doesn't get completely rolled to stick up a little bit for the SEC. I mean, I haven't seen the spread this week, but it was 3 touchdowns when they were supposed to play a couple weeks ago, and this game got moved for the Hurricane. I talked to a Texas alum at work and asked how they felt about it, and they were worried. They said, "Oh, Arkansas always gives us a game and all that," but I think that they thought a coked-out Matt Jones was still on Arkansas and would run all over Texas like he did, 6 or 7 years ago. And they really don't have to worry about that right now. Arkansas has looked dreadful. I have Colt McCoy on my college fantasy team, and I'm pretty excited for this match. I think it could single-handedly carry me to victory. I'd say that this Texas has got to be as good as Alabama, right? And Texas gets them at home. So I'll say on this game, like 45-7. Sounds about right to me. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, Texas rolls them. Arkansas looks terrible. I saw parts of that Arkansas-Alabama game, and it was just dreadful. So I'm going to go with Texas. They're probably going to beat them by a lot more. I'm saying 55-10. All right, the next game on the docket is Mississippi State at LSU. Mississippi State laid an egg last week. I was really surprised by how poor they showed up, especially with their defensive performance the week before. LSU coming off a big win against Auburn this past week at Auburn. LSU probably takes this to the house. I don't see them even having a problem whatsoever. I'm going to go with LSU 45, Mississippi State 13.
There's a little bit to be concerned with LSU having maybe a letdown game because that LSU Auburn game is so big all the time. But that being said, Mississippi State's looked terrible last week, and although this is their first road game against a team that doesn't have the word Tech in it, it's still a road game when they've lost 2 road games already. You got to think that they're going to continue looking pathetic. And if my boss, the Mississippi State grad's listening to this, I'm sorry, but you got to score more than 2 or 3 points, and I'm not sure you can do it. So I'll say LSU maybe doesn't get it going early on, but by the end they're rolling. So 28-3 LSU. The next game that we've got is UT at Auburn. Tennessee, of course, just got rolled by Florida. Now they have to go on the road to Auburn, where Auburn just lost to LSU at home. But maybe that'll make them angry, or maybe it'll be a letdown game. I'm not sure, but either way, I don't think it matters much. Unless something crazy happens, I don't think you can expect Tennessee to even come close. I mean, maybe they keep it within 14. I mean, I for one have thought Auburn was really good this year. Although their offense has kind of looked sluggish at times, I still think that Tennessee might be just the thing they're looking for, where Tennessee looks like a bottom tier SEC team right now.
Yeah, I mean, I saw you Tennessee firsthand last week, and they looked awful. Auburn couldn't hold on to a lead that they had early. I don't really know what to think about Auburn's offense either. Really haven't seen much out of them. They do have that new offensive coordinator, but I think that UT probably plays a lot better in this game. I think Florida's a lot better than Auburn. Not a lot better, but they're considerably better to the point where I don't think it's going to be 30-6. I think it'll be a lot closer, but Auburn probably wins this game 24-17. And on that note, we need to talk about some another thing. Is Philip Fulmer gone? I mean, do you really think that he's gone after this season? He just won an SEC East title last year, and yeah, it wasn't all that great of a season comparative to prior seasons, but he did win an SEC East title, beating both Florida and Georgia out for that spot. They're probably going to lose their next couple games, you got to think. They're going to start off, 2-4, 1-5, something like that? That's pretty bad. I saw him on the post-game show that they have in Knoxville the morning after, and they just show every single play and ask him about every single play. It's pretty funny watching it from a coach that had just lost a game because he did not look like he wanted to be there. But I don't know what to think. People there do not like him, and they're probably going to be talking about that for a while. What are your thoughts, James?
Yeah, I would say that Phil Fulmer is gone, but I've never really understood the whole situation there. I would have thought he was gone a couple of years ago. He's got that goofy contract where he only has to win 8 games to get a 1 year extension. And that just tells me that maybe they're not that concerned about it. He's a Tennessee grad. He won a national title there. Like you said, he's won a fair amount of East titles, even though they haven't translated to SEC championships since '98. I just got to think that it's got at some point it's got to be the last straw, and he's got to be out of there. And maybe it's the kind of thing where he steps down to save face, and he's not fired, but he's kind of pushed out the door. But if they start 2-4, especially, and they don't turn it around like they did last year, which was kind of a miracle unto itself, I don't see how he's coaching Tennessee next year.
In the final game, which is probably the biggest game of the week nationally, I gotta think. I don't know if game day is gonna be there, but I would assume that they'd be there. It's the Georgia Alabama game, and it's in Tuscaloosa. Georgia's coming off a big win against Arizona State on the road out in Arizona, in Tempe, and Bama's coming off a pretty big win against Arkansas, in Arkansas, 49-14, I believe was the final. So this is matching up two really, really good teams. I think it's going to be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Bama knocks them off. Alabama's looked great so far. They haven't really played against huge opponents yet, but besides Clemson, but they have looked good so far this season. I'm going to go with the upset. I think Alabama beats Georgia. I think it's real close. It's going to be a late score, and I think it's going to be a low-scoring game as well. So I'm going to go with 20-17 Alabama.
Alabama right now is on a pretty good run where they've looked, they looked outstanding against Arkansas. They beat a favored Clemson team that was top 10 preseason. Georgia's in the thick of their schedule. They played a tough game at South Carolina, and they had to turn around and travel across the country to Tempe. Now here they are in Tuscaloosa. Game day will be there. I think we saw in Urban Meyer's first year what it can mean to go in highly ranked, and Alabama's hungry to return to the days of Bear Bryant, and all their fans are crazy and all that. But I'm not sure that all the freshmen that Alabama's and all the young players that Alabama's relying on are going to be up to it. Yeah, they're talented, but maybe Georgia's the more experienced team will weigh out in the end. I think this is a close game. I think Georgia wins, but I think it's a late score. Maybe 24-20 with a late touchdown, sealing the game. I think last week with Georgia, you saw A.J. Green really emerge as a top playmaker, and of course Alabama has Julio Jones, so there's that. The freshman wide receiver phenom matchup to look at, but I think that A.J. Green emerging for Georgia makes Knowshon Moreno and Caleb King that much more dangerous, and I think that Alabama's youth will be exposed a little bit in this game. As much as I want Georgia to lose every time they play, I got to take Georgia.
All right, so for James, this is Chris. Go SEC. Like every other week, we say go to SEC. They're the best conference in the country, and we're gonna go ahead and root for everybody, especially the non-conference games like South Carolina and Kentucky. I think we're gonna be fine. But and Arkansas, root for Arkansas. It should be good. So for James, this is Chris. See you later.